The unthinkable, a looming banking crisis. It's a scenario that many thought was behind us, a relic of the past. But here we are, facing the possibility once again. The American financial system is teetering on the edge of a precipice. The cracks are beginning to show, and the stability we once took for granted is now in question. The warning signs are flashing red, but few seem to notice or care. It's as if we're sleepwalking into another disaster, ignoring the alarms that are blaring all around us. The very foundation of our economic system, our banks, are in jeopardy. This isn't hyperbole. The institutions we rely on to safeguard our money and facilitate our transactions are under threat. It's the cold, hard truth. The numbers don't lie, and the data is painting a grim picture. The financial health of our banks is deteriorating, and the consequences could be dire. Ignore it at your peril. Remember 2008? The memories of that crisis are still fresh for many, and the scars it left on our economy are still visible. The crash, the bailouts, the widespread panic and uncertainty. It was a time of fear and desperation, and we could be heading down that path once more. We're hurtling towards a similar crisis. The indicators are all there, and the experts are sounding the alarm. But are we listening? But this time it could be far worse. The stakes are higher. The potential fallout, unimaginable. The interconnectedness of our global economy means that a crisis in one sector can quickly spread to others. This isn't just about numbers on a balance sheet, it's about the real-world impact on people's lives, the stress, the uncertainty, the fear of losing everything. This is about real people, your neighbors, your family, your livelihoods. The ripple effects of a banking crisis can devastate communities, leaving lasting scars. We're talking about a potential collapse that could make 2008 look like a walk in the park. The system is rigged. The mechanisms that are supposed to protect us are failing. The 1% are poised to profit from the chaos while the rest of us are left to pick up the pieces. Sound familiar? It's a tale as old as time where the rich get richer and the poor suffer the consequences. It's time to wake up. We can't afford to be complacent. The signs are all around us, and we need to take action before it's too late. It's time to pay attention, to demand accountability from our financial institutions and our leaders, to ensure that safeguards are in place to prevent another catastrophe. The wolf is at the door, and if we don't act now, we may find ourselves facing a crisis that we are ill-prepared to handle. The widening gap, economic disparity, and the 1%. This isn't just a recent phenomenon, it's been growing for decades, slowly but surely. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. The gap between the rich and the poor has been widening for decades. It's a chasm, really, a chasm that separates two worlds, one of opulence and one of struggle. The wealthy live in a bubble, insulated from the harsh realities that many face daily. And it's about to become a canyon so vast that it seems impossible to bridge. The middle class is shrinking, and the working class is bearing the brunt of economic policies that favor the elite. This impending financial crisis, it's not going to affect everyone equally. The wealthy will continue to thrive, while the rest of us will struggle to survive. The disparity is stark and growing more pronounced with each passing year. The 1%, the ultra-wealthy, they're prepared. They have the resources, the connections, and the foresight to protect their wealth. They live in a world of luxury, far removed from the daily struggles of the average person. They've got their safety nets, their offshore accounts, their investments in tangible assets. They diversify their portfolios, ensuring that their wealth is protected no matter what happens in the economy. They'll weather the storm just like they always do. They have the means to adapt and thrive, even in the face of economic downturns. For them, it's just another cycle, another opportunity to grow their wealth. But for the rest of us, the middle class, the working class, the struggling families just trying to make ends meet, this could be devastating. Job losses, home foreclosures, retirement savings wiped out. The impact on our lives could be catastrophic, leaving us with little to no safety net. The system is designed to protect the wealthy, to keep them in power, while the rest of us are left vulnerable. It's a system that perpetuates inequality, ensuring that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. It's a rigged game, and the house always wins. The rules are set up to benefit those at the top, leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves in an increasingly hostile economic environment. Don't be fooled into thinking this is just a coincidence. It's by design. The wealthy have the power to influence policies and shape the economy to their advantage. leaving the rest of us to deal with the consequences. We must recognize this disparity and work towards a more equitable system for all. China's strategic moves, treasuries, gold, and the yuan. These three elements are at the core of their financial strategy, each playing a crucial role in their long-term vision. Across the globe, another power is rising. This isn't just a regional shift, it's a global transformation that could redefine economic power structures. China. They've been playing the long game, strategically positioning themselves for this very moment. Their meticulous planning and execution are now coming to fruition, and they're holding a lot of cards. These cards represent their diversified investments in strategic assets, carefully chosen to maximize their influence. They've been dumping U.S. Treasuries, once considered the safest investment in the world. This move signals a significant shift in their investment strategy. Why? Because they know what's coming. Their analysts and strategists have been forecasting global economic trends, and they are preparing accordingly. They see the writing on the wall. The signs of economic instability and potential downturns are clear to them. At the same time, they've been accumulating gold at an unprecedented rate. This isn't just a hedge, it's a strategic reserve, the ancient symbol of wealth, a hedge against a failing dollar. Gold has always been a safe haven in times of economic uncertainty. Coincidence? Don't bet on it. Every move is calculated, every decision is part of a larger strategy. China is preparing for a new world order, one where the yuan, their currency, plays a much larger role. They envision a future where the yuan is a dominant global currency, and they're not just going to wait for it to happen. They're taking proactive steps to ensure their vision becomes reality. They're actively making it happen. Through strategic investments, international partnerships, and economic reforms, China is paving the way for a new financial era. The controlled demolition, the gradual decline of the U.S. dollar, the world's reserve currency, the bedrock of the global financial system. For decades, its dominance has been unchallenged, but those days are numbered. This isn't going to be a sudden collapse, a crash and burn. No, this is going to be a controlled demolition, a slow, agonizing decline, orchestrated by the very people who claim to be protecting it. The Federal Reserve, the puppet masters of our monetary system, they're printing money at an alarming rate. They call it quantitative easing. We call it inflation. They're devaluing our currency, making everything we buy more expensive. And they're doing it right in front of our eyes. A digital future, the rise of the digital dollar. But the decline of the dollar isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter, a digital chapter. The rise of the digital dollar is inevitable. It's already happening. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are being developed all over the world. China is already light years ahead. Their digital yuan is already being used. This isn't about convenience, it's about control, total control. Imagine a world where every transaction you make is tracked, monitored, controlled by the government. That's the future they're building. Cracks in the foundation, declining U.S. Treasury holdings. The evidence is mounting. Foreign nations, once eager to scoop up U.S. Treasuries, are now backing away. They're selling, not buying. They see the writing on the wall. China, once the largest holder of U.S. debt, has been steadily reducing its holdings. They're not the only ones. Japan, Russia, even our allies in Europe, they're all getting out. This is a vote of no confidence in the U.S. economy. A clear sign that the world is losing faith in the dollar. The implications are staggering. China's economic might, stimulus measures, and global influence. Meanwhile, China's economy continues to grow. They're investing in infrastructure, technology, and their people. They're providing stimulus when needed, not just printing money like we are. They're building relationships with countries around the world, creating alternatives to the U.S.-led financial system. The Belt and Road Initiative, the new development bank, these are just the beginning. China is playing chess while we're playing checkers. They're thinking long-term, strategically, and they're winning. The domino effect, the impact on small banks and businesses. The collapse of the banking sector won't happen in a vacuum. It will have a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. And as always, it's the small guys who will get hit the hardest. Small businesses, the backbone of our economy, rely on loans from small banks. When those banks start failing, the credit markets freeze up. Businesses can't get loans, they can't make payroll, they have to close their doors. And then the layoffs begin. Millions of people out of work. The unemployment line stretch for blocks. The economy grinds to a halt. It's a nightmare scenario, but it's one we need to prepare for. The importance of preparedness navigating economic uncertainty. The good news is, it's not too late, not yet. We can still take steps to protect ourselves, to prepare for the coming storm. But we have to act now. First, we need to get informed, educate ourselves about what's really going on in the financial system. Don't rely on the mainstream media, they're part of the problem. We need to diversify our assets, get out of the dollar, invest in gold, silver, tangible assets. Things that will hold their value when the fiat currency system implodes. A call to action, protecting your financial future. This isn't about getting rich, it's about survival. It's about protecting our families, our communities, our way of life. We need to start thinking for ourselves, questioning everything. Don't trust the experts, they've led us down this path before. Get involved, talk to your friends, your family, spread the word. The more people who are aware of what's happening, the better prepared we'll be. Conclusion: a new financial order. The world is changing. The old financial order is crumbling. A new one is emerging. The question is, will we be ready? The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Let's not wait until it's too late. Let's take control of our financial future before someone else does it for us.